What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Masters EX video. My name is Charlie, and today is it's Christmas Eve, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. And Zekrom finally here. They dropped. I will have my summon video up soon. Until then, I'll probably have it up tomorrow for Christmas. So until then, I got some pretty good Synchrid videos for you guys, and we'll go over team builds, moveset, lucky skills, all that sort of fun stuff. So let's just get right into it, you guys. Why not, right? First off, it is an electric type. It is weak against dragons, surprisingly. And it's a physical striker. Of course, 5-star. And he does have a 6-star EX unlocked, so that means if you unlock his 6-star EX, his sync move will become an AoE sync move. It'll hit all the opponents. It'll be great. So for his stats, they still haven't updated the rankings for his attack and HP, but he's attacks at 381. That's out of the gate in the top 10 in the game so far. I can't remember where it's at because there are Mega Evolutions that push attacks up to like 400 and over, but just right out of the gate, 381 is really good. That's higher than Gloria. Gloria's at 379, I believe, so that should put it in perspective. Special attack is okay, not amazing. Defense and special defense are not great because it's a striker, it's not a tank unit. Let's see here. We will get into team builds and stuff after I run through all this stuff before we get into Synchreds. Alright, so moveset. Bolt Strike. It has a small chance of leaving the target paralyzed, which you can bolster with the Synchryd. It is an electric type, physical attack, power of 189 or 226 depending on how powered up it is, accuracy of 85. Which can be boosted a little bit, and it's a single opponent attack. It's a 4-gauge move cost, so it's very, very strong. It's very strong. It's like Hyper Beam or Blast Burn, Frenzy Plant, Hydro Cannon, that sort of stuff. It's along those lines. X attack, of course, sharply raises the user's attack. Outrage leaves the user confused. Does 115 power or 138 power depending on how powered up it is. Accuracy of 100 against single opponent. 3-gauge move cost. So you can build Zekrom like Iris and Haxorus, where it's like a outrage dragon type attacker with Confusion Boon plus giving it the lucky skill Lesson Confusion 9. We'll get into that with some of the Synchrid builds. So that's a possibility. Maybe not the one that you want to do, but it's a possibility that you can do. And then Ideals Will Prevail is the training move, or the trainer move. Sharply raises the user's speed, raises the user's accuracy, lowers the user's defense. That's cool because we have plenty of, X defense all raising defense of the entire team units out there now. If the user does not have a sync buff, so this is before you use your sync move, also powers up the user's next super effective attack. So depending on if it's Outrage against Dragon weak opponents, or if it's Bolt Strike with Electric weak opponents, use this before your first sync move, pretty much. And you'll raise your accuracy, so that leans more towards Bolt Strike, because Outrage is not low on accuracy. It's 100% accuracy. But you can use it because if it's a super effective attack with Outrage, then yeah, use it. Why not? Alright, so we'll get into the sync move. Bridging Bolt Strike. No additional effects, so it's just a straight out, just this is how much we're doing damage attack. 250 is 300 power, depending on how powered up it is. And of course, this stuff changes with team builds, which we will also get into after we go through the passive skills. So the passive skills. Entry freebie makes the user's next move not use move gauge when it levels, but just essentially using the move gauge when the Pokemon enters a battle. So when you come into the battle, or say you're on a team where you switch in for the first time, you're going to be able to use Bolt Strike without using any move gauge. It's pretty nice. Sync freebie makes the user's next move not use move gauge levels after using a sync move. So you use your sync move, you can use Bolt Strike, and it will not cost you any move gauge. Very nice. Makes me lean towards this being a sync nuker, especially if it's a 6-star EX sync nuker. It's really good. Piercing blows grants all of the following effects when the user is attacking with a move or sync move. Ignores the passive skills that would reduce damage of attacks. Ignores passive skills that would protect the target against a critical hit. And opponents cannot endure the attack. That's stupid OP. That's really good. You would essentially want to use Zekrom against every legendary arena, especially if you have him at 6-star EX. Because you're just gonna wipe the floor. Just wipe the floor with legendary arenas with this. That's really, really good. It's really good. So let's get into like team builds for In and Zekrom. Let me scroll back up here so you can see Zekrom. Alright, so team builds for Zekrom. If you have Luxray, he's the only unit in the game right now that does electric terrain, which is really detrimental for, or not detrimental, but critical for Zekrom reaching its full potential of attack power. Because what electric terrain does is it increases by 50% the attack power of electric type attacks, which is amazing. It's really, really good. And that's with essentially all field effects. If Rain Dance will make water type moves 50% more powerful. Luxray, yes, essential, I would say, as your number 2 tactic spot. And as far as like your number 1 tactic spot, that can change from a healer to maybe even like Erica and Vileplume, because they do have pretty good tankiness. You will get paralysis synergy for sync moves, pretty much. So if your opponents are paralyzed, your sync moves will do more damage. And you have an Outrage paralysis buff, to where if your opponents are paralyzed and you use Outrage, it'll power up Outrage on the sync grid. So the 3 sync pairs that outright just will paralyze the opponent are Sophocles with his move Nuzzle, Calum with Thunder Wave, and Erica with Stun Spore. The reason I would choose Erica over the other 2, even though Sophocles would get you a electric boost with your theme skills, I would use Erica with Stun Spore just because of the tankiness. So you immediately, especially if it's like a single legendary opponent, like a legendary arena, like Regirock. It's only Regirock, you don't have to worry about anybody else. Just instantly go use Stun Spore, and then just start going in with, I guess you could do probably like Bolt Strike, or if you want to do an Outrage build, you could do that as well. Now, if you're using a Bolt Strike build, then I would recommend having like an actual tank or healer. Signusuit Alyssa with Rotom would be really good because you're getting a couple of... you're getting Electric, at least. Theme Skill. I'm not sure if they're from the same region. I don't think they're from the same region. But you could get a few... Because Rotom helps you get to your sync move faster, so Breathtaking. That would be really useful for for Zekrom, especially if you have a maxed out sync grid with just the maxed out sync bomb build. Like, he's an amazing sync nuker, that's all I'm saying. But if you're using a Bolt Strike build out along with like a sync nuke build, which we can get into like doing mix matching sort of stuff, he has a Bolt Strike hostile environment 1, so you'll be able to increase your possibility of paralyzing your opponent from a small chance to a little bit better, probably a good chance to moderate chance. So that will also provide your paralyzing with paralysis synergy. Alright, so now we went over some possible team builds, theme skills that go along with that sort of stuff. You know, Luxray is just amazing. That's all I'm saying, Luxray. As far as like a lucky skill, Critical Strike 2, because, you know, you want to do as much damage with him as possible. But if you are going the Outrage route, Lessen Confusion 9, just like with Iris and Haxorus. But, okay, I think we've covered a lot of pretty much everything that you need to know as far as team builds, possible team builds that you could do, and moveset and all that fun stuff. Let's get into the actual sync grids. Alright, so this is the 1 out of 5 sync grid. He is not too bad here. You get everything with 750 orbs. So you have your X attack, MP refresh, Outrage, move gauge refresh. You get Life, which prevents the Pokemon from getting paralyzed, which is useful for, you know, making sure that you're not getting slowed down by anything. And you can increase Bolt Strike attack power a little bit. Getting the attack +5s is nice because you're, you know, just making all of your strikes overall more powerful. Alright, we're moving on to a 2 out of 5 build. This is the Outrage build for 2 out of 5. Like I said, you get the Confusion Boon 3, which powers up the moves when the user is confused. Again, you'd want to use this particular build. Yeah, there we go. You want to use this particular build if you have Lessen Confusion 9 on. We actually have 2 left over, so we'll grab that speed. Okay. So Lessen Confusion 9 as your lucky skill. But you don't have to do it, because if we take away Outrage... Oh no, we don't have Clear-Headed yet. That's a 3 out of 5. So yeah, this would be like Lessen Confusion 9. That's my bad. So Lessen Confusion 9, and you're getting Outrage Confusion Boon 3. So yeah, not too bad. And if you didn't want to get like the extra speed, you could go and take away some like defense, HP, special defense, boom boom boom, and then probably grab more speed. You could go this route where you're just fully powering up Outrage. But again, only do this if you have Lessen Confusion 9 as your lucky skill. Can't stress that enough. Alright, we'll move on to the next one. Next 2 out of 5 build is going to be the Bolt Strike build. This would be the recommended build, unless you really want to use Zekrom against Dragon-type opponents or opponents that are weak to Dragon-type attacks. This would be the recommended build for a 2 out of 5 Zekrom. In the upper right-hand corner, you have that Bolt Strike Hostile Environment 1, which will raise the chance of inflicting status conditions with the additional effects of moves, so Bolt Strike will increase its possibility of paralyzing the opponent. We do have Bolt Strike Move Gauge Refresh 2, and it can increase the accuracy a little bit from 85 to 90% accurate with the Bolt Strike Accuracy +5. And we have access to some sync move power-ups. So we can increase it by 50%. Or by plus 50 power, I guess. Other than that, we went for speed and the attack builds, or the attack nodes. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Just trying to grab up as many stats as possible, you know, stat boosting nodes. Alright, move on to the next one. This is our first 3 out of 5 build. It's the Outrage build. This one we do have Static Shock 3, which powers up sync moves when the target is paralyzed. For this particular build, we went with Clear-Headed, so you can use Critical Strike 2, which would make your sync moves more powerful. But again, if you didn't want to do that, if you have Lesson Confusion 9, you would want to do Outrage Confusion Boon 3. That way you're doing more damage with Outrage, and then you're hammering home the sync moves. We got 3 of the sync move nodes. This would be another kind of a build for having an Erica on your team to just immediately stun the opponent, so that way you can instantly get access to your sync move damage power up with the Static Shock 3. So it's not too bad. Of course, a lot of the other electric type attacks from any electric type team members would have a chance of paralyzing. There are moves that have moderate chances of paralyzing, that sort of thing. So you don't necessarily have to use Erica to use Stun Spore to paralyze, but I'm just recommending it because it's 100% accuracy of absolutely it leaves your opponent paralyzed. That's why I'm suggesting it. Same thing with Sophocles using Nuzzle and Calum using Thunderwave. Same thing. It's an instant, 100% guaranteed paralyzing move. That's the only reason why I'm telling you to use those guys. If not, you can use Cygnus Alyssa and like using Thundershock, or Pikachu using Thundershock. You know, you can use these guys. But it's not that guaranteed paralyzing. That's all I'm saying. Alright, so we'll move on to the next one. This is the Bolt Strike build. Again, we're using, it's like a mix of Bolt Strike plus Sync Nuker. Using the Static Shock 3. Bolt Strike Hostile Environment 1. And we do have Bolt Strike Move Gauge Refresh 3. Excuse me. Bolt Strike Move Gauge Refresh 2, so that stacks Bolt Strike Move Gauge Refresh 5. So that's really good. Unfortunately, we only have one Bolt Strike accuracy power-up. But, you know, his Ideals Will Prevail increases his accuracy, sacrificing your defense, but that's fine because there are plenty of other sync pairs out there that will bolster your defense. So I'm not worried about that at all. But yeah, we went for 3 of the sync move nodes. You know, you're doing a decent amount of damage, and because your first move when you enter the battle, you're not going to use any move gauge, so you can instantly hit with that Bolt Strike, and hopefully, with luck, you'll be able to instantly paralyze your opponent with that, with Bolt Strike Hostile Environment 1. And from there, you can have like move gauge refreshers on your team. Rosa and Superior, of course, is a free-to-play move gauge refresher. Cygnasuit Blue is probably the best because he doesn't necessarily refresh the move gauge with a move, but one of his moves will increase the move gauge speed, how it refills. So that always helps out with 4 gauge moves. Yeah. So there's another possible one if you have them. So get them. Alright, move on to the next one. This is the first of our Sync Nuke builds. So this one, we're using Bolt Strike, Hostile Environment 1, and we're just grabbing as many of the sync nodes as possible, so that's 7500, 125 added to the sync move, and we're using Static Shock 3 to increase the power of the sync move when the target's paralyzed, and we grab the attack nodes extra attack node because, you know, increases the move's power. So it's not bad. This is a decent build. It's alright. It's alright. Moving on to the next one. We've got... this one we have fully maxed out with our sync move power-ups. Grabbed all 6 of them, so that's, what, 50, 100, 150? So 100 extra 150 to the power to the sync bomb. We don't have Bolt Strike Hostile Environment, but we grabbed some extra speed here. So with something like this, you could absolutely use the Erica or any other unit that you think would help paralyze the opponent fast enough so that you can really do some damage with that sync bomb. Alright, move on to the last one. Very last sync bomb build. This one we're using Adrenaline. And what Adrenaline does is it reduces the sync move countdown by 1 when a sync move is used for the first time. So it's useful in that you'll be able to, as soon as you do your sync move, you're just, you know, reducing your sync move by 1 so you can get to it a little bit faster with the next one. Would work really well with Signasuit Alyssa and Rotom, because then you can just do like back-to-back sync bombs, sync nukes, however, whatever phrase you like to say. And if you have, you know, an MP refresh on Breathtaking, wouldn't hurt at all. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for In and Zekrom. Going over all their stuff, their kit, and their sync grids. Let me know what you think about the unit down below. What sync grid are you going to be using for Zekrom? Let me know. And make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, so you never miss out on any of my daily Pokemon Masters EX content. Make sure you hit that little bell notification so you'll get notified when I upload a video. I swear to God I can talk, you guys. I swear to God I can talk. And again, happy holidays, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Later.